Turnbuckle Studios and the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program bring you the week of streams. Monday nights you get the Locker Room Breakdown at 7 p.m. Eastern, followed by the Raw Patrol at 8 p.m. Eastern. Tuesday brings you the flagship show, Turnbuckle Talk, at 8:05 p.m. Eastern. Wednesday we play games with the PlayStation Showcase at 8 p.m. Eastern. Thursday we go TNA when we brace for Impact at 7:55 p.m. Eastern. Friday we secure all details as we answer the call for the SmackDown security detail at 8 p.m. Eastern. The weekend brings you Saturday Night Gaming at 8 p.m. Eastern. On Sundays be sure to catch the Chris Parrish podcast at 12:15 p.m. Eastern, followed by the Boar's Nest at 8 p.m. Eastern. Be part of the shows and join the chat every day.
A Turnbuckle Affiliation program is looking for more people. If you have passion level for pro wrestling, sports, video games, or something else, then Turnbuckle Studios is the place to be. If you have ever wanted to pursue content creation and want to join our team, then we would love to have you. Check out turnbucklestudios.org or contact us by email today, because your future is now, and we want you to tap in.
Welcome everyone to the Chris Parrish podcast. My name is Chris Parrish and we are here at episode 88. We're halfway there. That's right. If you want to know why, because last night we had the first night of the historic two-night SummerSlam, and that is now in the books. We are heading into night 2, which is today. But what were your thoughts so far to night 1? We got what I was hoping for. We got CM Punk defeating Gunther and becoming your new World Heavyweight Champion. But little did we know, Seth Rollins' injury, well, let's just say it wasn't what it was. As he comes, he cashes in. He walks out of MetLife Stadium, the new World Heavyweight Champion. Let me know in the thoughts what you think. We'll get more into that. But first things first, we must give a shout out to the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program and the homepage that is turnbucklestudios.org. You can get your fill when you go to that homepage, and you can check out everything that the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program can offer you. You can email them directly. You can check out every member and what they have, as there's direct links to every one of their latest show. Got to give a big thanks to beercadewhyte, the home of the Chris Parrish podcast and home to all major WWE, AEW pay-per-views and PLEs, located in Edmonton at 10544 82nd Ave. I was there last night for night 1. Had a great time. You can go and support them on Instagram, Facebook, and on X. As we talked, we got a cash-in last night. That's right. WWE fooled us all, as we had an incredible main event match for the World Heavyweight Championship between the Ring General and the Straight Edge Superstar. Left it all in the ring. But it was CM Punk who got his hand raised. It was CM Punk who did the unthinkable, and he was the one who defeated the Ring General, and he walked out of that match feeling like he was the old dog that could still play with the new kids. That's right. CM Punk won In 2025, CM Punk won the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Absolutely crazy. We got Boar's Nest, Bubba Doo coming in the chat on the Twitch side saying, good morning, Parrish. Good morning, Bubba Doo. How are we doing today? Talking a little night one SummerSlam. How could we not? It was absolutely amazing. And here's the thing. 12 matches on both nights at SummerSlam. 3 of them, which were all last night, non-title. 9 championship matches on SummerSlam. The only ones we don't see are the Women's United States Championship and the World Tag Team titles. And guess what? We just saw the New Day we saw the LWO and Judgment Day on Monday, and we saw Julia versus Zelina Vega on Friday. So within the span of 3 shows, we're getting a title match for every single championship. Chris Best coming in saying, Seth played us with that heist. Bubba Doo coming in saying, I'm still excited from last night. Now, can you not? Night 1, maybe didn't have the luster that night 2 has because, it's all championship matches. It has a TLC involving just about every team that you could possibly wonder. Don't got a babyface John Cena. We'll talk about that too. But man, every match delivered last night. Every single match delivered. Even if you're on the mindset of, Karrion Kross should have won. Why are they burying him? He's not going to renew his contract. Please. We can't just enjoy the fact that Karrion Kross had a match that we cared about at one of the biggest PLEs of the year for the biggest company in the world. No. We got to find a way to absolute dissect everything that went wrong because he didn't win. As if the IWC knows exactly how to make a superstar in 2025. Because we're the ones that were still complaining about Jey Uso winning the Royal Rumble. But Karrion Kross and Sami Zayn had a great match. They finally finished their story. Whether it was Karrion Kross wanting Sami Zayn to tell the truth, and that was that Kross is always right, or whether it's Sami Zayn wanting to prove that his moral code is better than Karrion's dark ways. He had a chance to use a steel pipe. That's right, Scarlett presented him with the steel pipe as his temper almost got him disqualified as he kept beating up on Karrion Kross, but ultimately chose not to use it. He didn't need it. The story isn't about what Karrion Kross didn't get, opposed to the story of Sami Zayn is overcoming. Bubba coming in saying, I feel like Kross didn't need to win because he's already so over anyway. The thing is with Karrion Kross, the win and losses don't matter. And this is my biggest gripe. He has even stated on live TV that a loss doesn't matter. Which kind of makes me wonder why we're doing the match. But the thing that I'm very much wanting to see out of Karrion Kross is growth. Just development. Where does each loss, where does each win go? What does he do following? Because if Karrion Kross can make everything he does turn into something bigger, then all of a sudden we got Karrion Kross riding a wave of momentum. We got Karrion Kross as a very developed character that we care about on our TV screens. Does he need 1 million wins? No. I'll be the first one to say this, and let me tell you, newsflash, people, if you always have to win to be relevant in the world of pro wrestling, you're not very good to begin with. If the result of a match is only going to be the dictation of your progress, you are doomed at the very beginning, my friend. We are completely invested in the character that is Karrion Kross as a fan, and that is the thing. You got to connect with your audience, and Karrion Kross has found that connection. So much that we do see that extreme of why he doesn't win a match. But what we got last night was absolutely fantastic, because for the first time, we really saw a story play out, and we saw a story finish. Now Karrion Kross and Sami Zayn both now can go their separate ways, and they can go and do something next. What that next is, I mean, another person Karrion Kross has kind of feuded over, and we haven't really finished off, is AJ Styles. Does he go back and do something there? AJ Styles is currently wrestling Dirty Dominic Mysterio later today for the Intercontinental Championship. So, could we see an Intercontinental Championship match down the road with Karrion Kross and AJ Styles if he is to win? Bubba coming in and saying, to me, Kross is about the story, not the wins or losses. I mean, that's what pro wrestling really should be. The match, sometimes a match doesn't have to be about who wins and who loses, but does a story end? Now, there are a lot of stories, a lot of examples where a win matters, and trust me, you want to be captivated in the match because you want to see somebody win it. You don't want to see somebody lose it. You don't want to see your favorite wrestler lose a match. You don't want to see the person who is fighting only to fail. No, you want to see that story prevail. And I understand that. And I understand where people are coming with when they're like, we want Karrion Kross to win. He should have won. But that's too... If Karrion Kross is to win, you may see something with Karrion Kross following that. But then you know what you're doing. You're doing it at the expense of Sami Zayn, which is somebody you don't want that to happen to. There's a way to bring both men up. I would actually argue Sami Zayn needed the win more than Karrion Kross, because if Sami Zayn was to lose, he was more in a funk than Karrion is. Karrion can beat somebody up on Monday in the backstage, and you're all in for it. And that's mostly what's going to happen. Could it be Sami Zayn? Maybe. But the one thing that you're getting now that you weren't getting 6 months ago is Karrion Kross on your screens all the time now. He's having matches on Raw. He's having segments that you care about. He's having feuds that finish on big PLEs. This is just the start. This is not the end. Patience is a virtue, and Karrion Kross is here to stay, people. I wouldn't read too much into the scenarios on the internet. He's going to resign. Why wouldn't he? And he's going to be a major player. And then for Sami Zayn, I'm still hard-pressed. That very well could be your winner for the 2026 Men's Royal Rumble. We also had a huge tag match that kicked off SummerSlam. That was Roman Reigns, Jey Uso taking on Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. And how awesome is it to see Bronson Reed sporting Roman Reigns' Nikes over his head like it's his Ula follow. Very entertaining. But also, how big are those damn shoes? Like, damn. Plus, they're so white that Bronson, if you got a scratch or a dirt mark or anything on that shoes, man, Roman was gonna be pissed. You can't scuff a man's shoes, man. But all in all, this match was absolutely fantastic. They left, I mean, you could say phrases like, oh, they left it all out there. They wrestled like they had a chip on their shoulder. But at the end of the day, they went to steal the show right out of the gates. Roman Reigns taken to the point where he sacrificed himself for Jey Uso. So let's roll back this. We all know the historic reign that Roman had with WWE and Universal Championships. We all know that this bloodline really started with the battle between Jey Uso and Roman Reigns. And it was Jey Uso who was the first real bloodline member to leave. You can be like, oh, Sami did, but Sami Zayn is not family. He wasn't a bloodline member. He was a brought-in member. Jey Uso was the first family-related member to leave on his own. He stood up to Roman Reigns. And the story of the bloodline may not have just been about Roman Reigns and his legendary and iconic reign, but more about the growth of what we have with Jey Uso. And now we're seeing acknowledgement from Roman to Jey. Whether it's Roman coming in to save Jey and CM Punk, and he's only helping out Jey back to his feet, or what we saw last night, pushing Jey out of the way so he could take the spear from Braun Breaker. That allows Jey Uso to pick up the win on Bronson Reed. Roman took the sacrifice. It wasn't about him. He made it about Jey Uso, which is what Jey Uso always wanted. He wanted equality among the family. That's exactly why he even chose to go back with Roman after everything blew up. We got Chris in the chat on the YouTube side. Thanks for coming in, saying CM Punk got screwed. Sure did, man. Sure did. And why don't we get to that? Why don't we get kind of to that last thing now? CM Punk and Seth Rollins is not over. I mean, as one famous movie said, the way I see it, we've only just begun. Now that we know that Seth Rollins is not out for any extended time, it is clear that we are going to see Seth Rollins, Paul Heyman, Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed more. We're going to see CM Punk more. Chris coming in saying, I was happy CM Punk won the world title, but was screwed again. Fire Triple H. Chris, I want to let you know that CM Punk and Triple H are probably the closest they've ever been. What they were able to do, they made great television last night. As we said, CM Punk champion in 2025. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? But I can only imagine where we go from here. We also saw new women tag team champions last night at SummerSlam. Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair defeated Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez after Alexa Bliss pins Roxanne Perez. I'm not going to lie. I thought this match really took a while to get going, but once it did, I was into it. Whether or not that's because we were given such a high standard with the opening match, maybe it was because this was a match that we knew. I think we all knew we were going to see new champions. Bubba coming in saying, yeah, the odd couple is tag champs now. Wow. I mean, we've seen this before. But here's what I like about it. We're going to see this match again. We're going to see Judgment Day get the rematch. To me, it begs the question, is Liv Morgan closer to coming back than what we originally thought? Because take notice, it wasn't Raquel losing the titles. It was Roxanne. So there could be a finger to be put here in terms of blame. Liv Morgan gets hurt. Roxanne Perez badly wants the tag championship, but loses them. Whoo! Liv Morgan could be mad. What I like about this is very similar to what we saw at WrestleMania. Remember when Becky Lynch came back and her and Lyra won the tag championships from Liv and Raquel only to get them back because they wanted to turn Becky Lynch. But then it's also creating a moment. The one thing I do like about the team of Alexa Bliss and Charlotte is it's just simple. It creates depth in your women's division because you just can't have Raquel and Roxanne win every single time because who is in their way? Chris coming in saying, I hope Bianca turns and helps Naomi out tonight. We'll get to that one in a bit. But Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, right now, they have that story. You know, I think for the first time, we're getting Charlotte's guard down. And we're actually getting to see more of who she is in the Charlotte role and less about this idea of Charlotte needs to be a champion all the time. She needs to be in the main event scene. You know, all hail the queen. We're getting a little bit of we're seeing more of the human side of Charlotte Flair with Alexa Bliss. And I think that's absolutely fantastic. Bubba saying, I love. She loved what Charlotte Flair's doing. Chris coming in saying Bayley's being held back and Liv Morgan is pissed. Now, if I was Liv Morgan, I wouldn't be happy with Roxanne Perez losing those tag titles. But we can say one thing that right now, Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss are definitely adding some power to the women's tag team division right now, and I think that's something that we need to see more of. I'd like to see Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss take the titles from Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and kind of be that mobile champion, because that's the one championship that can go to all brands. That's the caveat with the women's tag team champions. They can go everywhere. And I'd like to see a little bit of that. Hell, I'd like to see Alexa Bliss and Charlotte maybe even take those titles to TNA. That would be cool. Getting to the women's championship match, Tiffany Stratton defending and defeating the Queen of the Ring in Jade Cargill. Who really thought Tiffany Stratton was walking out still champion here? I thought we were destined to have a new champion, and I was shocked when Jade lost and lost cleanly. The one thing I really think the one thing that I am thinking is Bianca Belair might not be ready to be back physically. Chris Best coming in and saying, my money was on Jay, but I feel that this may not be over. Bubba is saying Jade is not ready. What I loved about this match was it was the first real test for Jade Cargill and Tiffany Stratton. We have to admit that 5 years ago, both of these people were just starting out in pro wrestling. Now they're wrestling for a women's world title at the first ever 2-night SummerSlam. That's huge growth for both individuals. I really, really like this match. I thought it wasn't, they didn't do more than they needed to. They kept everything crisp. They did everything well. Everything was perfect in this match. It really made Tiffany Stratton look like a fighting champion. But then it also shows you just how relatable Jade Cargill is. She wants to be larger than life. She wants it all. But she herself has flaws. And I was saying this yesterday to a buddy of mine. You ever notice that until you're a world champion, you have flaws in your character? Hear me out. Right now, Jade Cargill doesn't have the experience in the ring. She still makes mistakes. She still gets a little bit over emotional in matches. That's a character flaw. When she does become champion, because it will happen, watch how she fixes that flaw. She'll be more complete as a character and as a performer because of it. The flaws for baby faces help you relate sympathetically, emotionally with these characters. I mean, we're talking Sami Zayn. Boy, does he have flaws. But then when we look at somebody like a Roman Reigns holding the championship for as long as he did, or Gunther holding the championship for as often as he does, we don't see as many flaws, if any at all. It's when the flaws arrive, or even just arise, that's when we start seeing the loss, and we start seeing whether it's a momentum shift. But when you look at a guy like CM Punk or Seth Rollins or Cody Rhodes and John Cena, yeah, you might say, well, this guy's an a-hole, this guy's not nice. That's not a flaw per se, that's a choice. But Cody Rhodes, always trusting people and never standing up. He is too trustworthy sometimes. That's a flaw. And because of that, he was unable to take the shot, and he lost his championship against John Cena. So it'll be very intriguing to see kind of where Jade Cargill and Tiffany Stratton go to next. I think Jade Cargill could very well go to a Julia for the United States Championship. But we also could very well see Jade Cargill and Tiffany Stratton one more time. And I'd actually be all in for that because I did like what they did last night. I want to see this cook just a little bit. However, hear me out on this. Because we all know my mind works in weird ways. What if Bianca Belair isn't the one that turns heel and joins Naomi? What if this entire time it's Naomi who gets turned on by Jade Cargill? Or sorry, it's Bianca Belair who gets turned on by Jade Cargill. it would make sense to why Jade lost. Gives her a reason to flip. Now all of a sudden, she gets a little insecure, realizes what she knows she has to take. She has to become meaner. She has to be more Sinister-esque. She has to be more ruthless. And this is where I think somebody like a Nia Jax could fit the mold as an accomplice as well. So it'll be very interesting to see what they do next with Jade. I will say I understand everybody that says she has insane momentum right now. Flipping her might not be the best move, and I can agree. But I do think what we saw last night with Jade Cargill and Tiffany Stratton was a Jade Cargill coming out moment where for the first time in WWE, she hasn't been in the ring with one of the big veterans. And I'm not saying Tiffany Stratton is inexperienced by any means, but what I'm saying is she didn't latch on in a tag team with Bianca Belair. She's not in a protected match like a Royal Rumble. She's not doing minor things where we see other people that have been around for 10 years be with her. It was Jade Cargill standing on her own 2 feet, going into a championship match against somebody, again, who is up and coming. And I think it's fair to say Tiffany Stratton is still an up and coming star. I think Jade Cargill absolutely knocked it out of the park last night. And I think this could be a sign to come. And if that's the case, Jade Cargill has finally, truly arrived in WWE. And I'm here for it. We talked about what you can see every week. We saw earlier the weekly calendar and the wanted ad. And I will say, if you missed that beginning, I'm going to play it again for you real quick. But I also want to give you a shout out to all the shows that we do have here on Turnbuckle Studios and put through the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program. The one you don't see on there, clearly because it's not weekly, PLE Patrol. Last night we saw night 1 of the watch party with SummerSlam. Tonight we will have night 2. So make sure you check out Turnbuckle Studios and its platforms for night 2 watch along with the PLE Patrol. It's going to be fun. But enough about me. Enjoy these videos.
Turnbuckle Studios and the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program bring you the week of streams. Monday nights you get the Locker Room Breakdown at 7 p.m. Eastern, followed by the Raw Patrol at 8 p.m. Eastern. Tuesday brings you the flagship show, Turnbuckle Talk, at 8:05 p.m. Eastern. Wednesday we play games with the PlayStation Showcase at 8 p.m. Eastern. Thursday we go TNA when we brace for Impact at 7:55 p.m. Eastern. Friday we secure all details as we answer the call for the SmackDown security detail at 8 p.m. Eastern. The weekend brings you Saturday Night Gaming at 8 p.m. Eastern. On Sundays be sure to catch the Chris Parrish podcast at 12:15 p.m. Eastern, followed by the Boar's Nest at 8 p.m. Eastern. Be part of the shows and join the chat every day.
A Turnbuckle Affiliation program is looking for more people. If you have passion level for pro wrestling, sports, videos games, or something else, then Turnbuckle Studios is the place to be. If you have ever wanted to pursue content creation and want to join our team, then we would love to have you. Check out turnbucklestudios.org or contact us by email today because your future is now, and we want you to tap in.
And once again, that homepage for the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program is turnbucklestudios.org. It is the best way to contact everything that is Turnbuckle Studios. And it's a great way to get more information about the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program. If you want a little more of a rundown about the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program, it's really something, a way to help strengthen the community here over at Turnbuckle Studios. It's really a system that we put in place to help connect people, whether or not you want to start out in content creation or whether or not you want to just do more. And that's just not, hey, everyone, come find us. Because we're very active on wanting more people to be a part of our team. But if this is a way to start a conversation where even people over at Turnbuckle Studios and the Turnbuckle crew, whether it's me, whether it's Chris Bess, OMB, Bubba Duke, Carl Carafel, if there's opportunities for us to even go and help out on other platforms, we'd love to hear from you. So if this is just a way to break that kind of mold of like silence, that's exactly what it's here for. It is a tool to connect. It's a bridge that we would like to extend. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. Now I'm just kind of thinking, did I cover all the matches over at SummerSlam Night 1? We talked about the 3 titles. We talked about the 3 non-titles. So yeah, we talked about every match over on Night 1. Night 2, going to be absolutely amazing tonight. We got 6 championship matches. We got 2 Intercontinental. We got a tag team TLC. We have United States, and we have 2 world titles. Whether it's AJ Styles taking on Dirty Dom for the men's Intercontinental, whether it's Lyra Valkyria taking on Becky Lynch for the women's Intercontinental Championship, I think the Intercontinental Championship is going to be a title that absolutely steals the show in some way tonight. Becky Lynch versus Lyra Valkyria, definitely a match where we know this is going to end what they have been starting. A feud that's really taken a left turn all the way on the night after WrestleMania. Becky Lynch, in my eyes, has really helped elevate Lyra Valkyria's overall performance. Whether it's her challenging Lyra on the mic, challenging her in the ring, but also making her be looked at as a larger star, I think has been amazing. Also, we could be seeing Becky Lynch debut new music tonight. So, I don't know how you feel about that. There's something nostalgic about what she already has. But it's also refreshing, if true. So, if anybody is watching this match, check out the entrance and let me know if she does debut new music. Let me know if you like it or not. But again, don't hold your breath because it may or may not happen. It's just a rumbling that I've been hearing that Becky Lynch could be debuting a new theme song tonight. And then we get to the men's Intercontinental Championship match. Dom Mysterio versus AJ Styles. As we all know, Dominic Mysterio is set to compete for the AAA Championship against Vikingo, El Grande Americano, and Dragon Lee on, I believe it's August 16th, which you can check out on WWE's YouTube. I think AJ Styles is not going to beat Dom Mysterio. I think Lyra Valkyria is also, by the way, is taking that championship from Becky. I do believe come August 16th, we're going to see Dominic Mysterio become a double champion. The only way I could see this not happen is if Finn Balor directly screws Dom Mysterio tonight. But I will be the first one to say, if Dom gets screwed, who turns babyface? Is it Finn or is it Dom? Because when you think about what happens in this scenario, AJ Styles becomes a champion, and it's because of Finn. So Finn helps the fans win. So it'll be very interesting. Now, do I really think that's going to happen? No, but I do think it's potential. I did kind of have a theory that we could see the implosion of the Judgment Day relatively quick. And we do already have one set of championships, and that is the women's tag titles out of the Judgment Day. Are there other championships to follow? Because hear me out. Is it not probable that on Monday we could see Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker win the tag titles off the Judgment Day? I think it's very plausible. Bubba Duke says Dom turns babyface. It'll be very intriguing to see kind of how they do this, if they go that route at all. But I do think for the longest time, we were getting this combative disagreement almost with Dom and Finn that kind of just weathered away ever since Finn Balor won championship gold. So it'll be very interesting on how the gold is taken off everyone in the Judgment Day, and what does that do for the status of the group. But the reason why I firmly do believe AJ Styles will not win is because I do think this is more of a pushing of Dom than it is a pushing of AJ Styles. AJ Styles commented that this very well could be his last SummerSlam, so we could see something of importance happen here, but we could see him become the champion. But at the same time, I think, one, I don't think this is AJ Styles' last SummerSlam. But I do think AJ Styles is not going to be used in the way that he was when he came into the WWE. I'm going to say this. I think AJ Styles gets one more title in his career. I don't think it's a mid-card title. In my eyes, it's either a tag or it's a world title. Next up, we have that steel cage match between Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu. Also, might I add, it's also no disqualification, no count out for Becky and Lyra. And I do think that's going to just be amazing. But a steel cage match for Jacob and Solo Sikoa. This one can go either way. We left SmackDown off with kind of that tease of what Jacob Fatu could do in a steel cage. But knowing that there's so many ways for Solo to sneak out, whether it's through the door, whether somebody can come in through just climbing, I think that this match is more designed for Solo Sikoa to retain his U.S. title than it is for Jacob to win. It'll be very interesting to see what Jim Uso does. What Big Jim does, because we all know that, Tonga Loa, all the MFTs, JC Mateo, all of them are going to get involved in some way, shape, or form. But right now, Jacob Fatu only has Jim Uso. So is this more of a who helps Jacob? Or do we see somebody join Solo in his group? I wouldn't think Solo needs any more people. Because at that point, I do think it's overkill. But it'll be very, very interesting. I use that word a lot, interesting, because I'm intrigued with kind of what that story is, what they chose to do. And I just don't think Jacob Fatu at this point needs a second reign with the U.S. title. I think he definitely could jump up into a world title as quickly as the next show after SummerSlam. So I have Solo Sikoa retaining his United States Championship. And it'll be very intriguing to see what they do. And the next up, we have the TLC match for the World Tag Titles, or the WWE Tag Titles. We got the Wyatt Sixes, representation of Joe Gacy and Dexter Lumis, defending their tag titles up against DIY, Fraxium, the Motor City Machine Guns, Ray Phoenix and Andrade, and one more team. DIY, Motor City Machine Guns, Fraxium, Street Profits, yeah. 6 teams, 2 titles, tables, ladders, chairs. I do think this is the swan song for this tag team division. I'm not going to lie. I do think this is a match we're going to get new tag team champions. And something tells me it's going to be Ray Phoenix and Andrade. I just have a feeling it's going to be them. I wouldn't be shocked if Fraxium walks out as champions here, but hear me out. I think DIY and the Machine Guns are going to cancel each other out. I think the Street Profits and the Wyatt Six can do the same thing. If we see some development between Ray Phoenix and Andrade, that could be the reason Fraxium wins. But we also could see a high spot be the result to why one of Fraxium doesn't win. Because we have to think of 3 things here. Everything's going to get used. People are going to go flying. And guys like Nathan Frazier and Axiom and Ray Phoenix, they're going to jump off just about everything. And Andrade might be thrown onto just about everything. And that's only 2 teams out of the 6. This match is going to be absolutely crazy. It's going to be off the hook. And I think this is what we get. I think this is creative's apology for not putting the original ladder match at WrestleMania and giving us War Raiders versus New Day instead. So I don't see how, as fans, we really lose here. But I do have new champions. I'm going to go with Ray Phoenix and Andrade. Become your new tag team champions. And that takes us to the triple threat match for the WWE Women's Championship, or the World Women's Championship. Naomi defends her title against Io Sky and Rhea Ripley. I have a feeling Naomi is going to get a badass entrance tonight. Which, by the way, how badass is the Tron on SummerSlam on the stage? The thing is just huge. Babadook coming in saying that Io Sky wins. We have to be reminded that the winner of this will face Stephanie Bakir at Clash in Paris. Babadook says Io Sky wins, and I have a feeling Io Sky is the one who is pinned in this match. I have a feeling we get something with Bianca Belair or Jade Cargill, and that helps Naomi retain her title. I just have a feeling Naomi is walking in a SummerSlam and walking out champion. And just like Io Sky did at WrestleMania, no one thought she was going to be champion going in, and nobody thought she was going to keep it. I think the same story is going to apply here for Naomi. And this is coming from someone who was dead set on Stephanie Bakir versus Rhea Ripley at Clash in Paris. I don't know what to expect in this match other than probably one of the better triple threats we'll see in a while. And yes, the last one we saw with Rhea Ripley and Io Sky was absolutely phenomenal with Bianca Belair at WrestleMania. But if you're Io Sky and you're Rhea Ripley, I know you want to make it better. And if you're Naomi, character-wise or even human-wise, I have a feeling she wants to say, oh, I can do better than Bianca. So I'm all here for it. And I'm just very much looking forward to what we get here. But I do have Naomi retaining. Although I kind of just want 6 new champions tonight, I'm not going to lie. Next up, we have the world title, the Universal Championship in a street fight, John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. I do believe Cody Rhodes will beat John Cena, and we get that complete passing of the torch moment from John Cena to Cody Rhodes. If you missed SmackDown, you missed a lot with John Cena because he basically apologized to the WWE Universe, to Cody. And John Cena, once again, is the John Cena of old. But when I was talking about earlier about flaws, I think we see a flaw in John Cena, and that is he no longer is going to be that person that takes the easy way out. And I think that'll be the story in this match today. And because of that, Cody Rhodes picks up the win. And the big question is, does Cody Rhodes turn heel to have that win? Perhaps. But I still like the fact that, say this match happens and Cody Rhodes wins, maybe, just maybe, we see The Rock come out. But maybe, just maybe, this is a ploy to introduce the new guy. John Cena wasn't The Rock's chosen one. But maybe, just maybe, Drew McIntyre is. I have a feeling Cody Rhodes' heel turn is a foreshadowed, maybe smoke and mirror, pun intended, attempt to what will happen. And I have a feeling something else will happen tonight other than Cody Rhodes turning heel. We've been teased with Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes for a while. And I think today is the time we get moving into that direction. Bubba Duke saying, I'm calling BS with John that he's playing with us. Well, we have to also take this into account that John Cena is going to have just over 10 appearances left. He wasn't going to be a heel for this entire run. So it wouldn't surprise me that he chooses to do the final months of his in-ring career with WWE the way he spent his first 2 decades. So I don't know. I'm not convinced. I'll put this out there. I don't think WWE is going to, quote unquote, fake an injury with Seth Rollins and then fake John Cena being a good guy in back-to-back nights. I think John Cena being a babyface again is the lead up for something else to happen. And I do think we're going to see something huge tonight. Yeah, got to take into account that this is the second night of SummerSlam ever. I think night 1 was a caveat to the main course, and I'm very much hungry for the main course. I want to see what goes down later tonight, SummerSlam night 2. You can check the PLE Patrol later tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. But all in all, we're only halfway there. This has been episode 88 of the Chris Parrish Podcast, and I want to say thank you to every single one of you who tuned in. I want to thank Bubba Duke and Chris Bass, who was there actively in the chat, but also Chris Gallegos for being introduced to the Chris Parrish Podcast. Regardless of what platform you're on, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, Instagram, I ask you to hit a like, follow, and subscribe. But also comment, rate the show. If you follow the Chris Parrish Podcast on Spotify, please rate the show and leave a comment of what you think. Is there something we can do better? Is there something that you want? Please let me know. Next week, we're coming back to you with episode 89. One step closer. What are we one step closer to? Well, next week, you're going to have to find out on episode 89 of the Chris Parrish Podcast. But right now, this has been episode 88. We're halfway there. I remind everyone to be happy, to be healthy, because at the end of the day, you matter. I'll see you next week.